In the last couple of days, we've been hearing that over the last 6 weeks, the cost of shipping here in Canada has increased by 120%. And I know what you're thinking. It's because of the price of oil right now, but that's not the reason. We're talking about logistics in Canada today on TPL Media. As always, our in-house expert on all things finance and economy, Paul Micucci, is joining me to talk about this. You know, Paul, there's no denying in my life the amount of logistics and trucking that I see. It actually impedes my mornings. It impedes my drive home. I live in an area where so much warehousing goes on, so much trucking goes on that you can just see. I mean, it's in my midst every day. Mm-hmm. This is a booming business right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the prices are escalating. You started the show, Mike, with a great stat, and one I picked up a week or two ago, because I was shocked at the percentage increase that shipping containers coming from Asia. Now, for the audience and for everyone, if they don't know, most of your metal shipping containers do come from China.
Okay.
So the major manufacturer, and that's because their mass production capabilities, their lower cost production.
They've got steel on hand.
They don't have great steel, but quite frankly, you don't need great steel for shipping containers. So it works perfectly into their business model or their production model for China. So most of your containers are coming from China. So when you say, shipments have gone up 120% coming from Asia into the west coast of Canada, that equates to about $6,200 for a container.
Oh my God!
Right. So you figure 120% increase up to $6,200 is pretty significant when you look at that Amazon thing you're getting or whatever you're buying that's coming from Asia. That means that cost is almost doubling.
That's incredible. So if I ordered something now, shipping on it could be as much as, or even maybe more than the actual item that I'm purchasing.
Just had it the other day. I ordered something for $500. It was coming from Asia. I got the shipping cost. They came in and gave it to me to sign. I'm like, what do you mean this is $1,200? I'm like, shipping is higher than the item? They're like, yeah, it's higher than the item. So again, that said to me, forget it. I'm not doing it. And then I asked the question, I'm saying, I go, why is shipping escalating so crazy high? Like why? And these are shipping containers I'm talking about. Why is it started to mess up all of our trade? And of course, the first thing that came were tariffs.
Well, yeah. And in fact, you're right. Businesses hate uncertainty more than they actually hate the tariffs, I think, because what we're seeing is a massive influx of pre-tariff importing and exporting.
Yeah. Remember our GDP, Mike? So we did a GDP. For listeners, if you have a chance, go and listen to our GDP shows. But we have some graphs there that show GDP before the first quarter of 2026 was still growing.
Yeah.
Month over month, we had 2%, 3%, 4% growth in GDP. All of a sudden, the tariffs come, Q1, we see the impacts. Boom.
We went below the line.
Yeah, we went to technical recession, which, we also did a show about. But it's a very interesting, now we're seeing the cause and effect. So we're seeing the cause, which was tariffs and the tariff shows. Now we're seeing the effect and we're seeing these shipping prices escalate. People are like, well, how? Like, why would a tariff cause? Well, it caused all this dysfunctional trade. So
100%. So now you've got warehouses filling to, right now, capacity is really at the burst point.
Right.
Rail capacity, trucking capacity, warehouse availability is almost non-existent. It's very difficult to get a container right now. In fact, I think it's near damn impossible to purchase a container anywhere in Canada right now. And over the last couple of years, 3 years specifically, and more so in the last 8 months, illegal container yards, illegal truck yards throughout Ontario are being shut down every day just because the capacity and the expense to house these vehicles to be part of this cloud or bubble, if you will, of shipping is unmanageable.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to burst, right? It's about to burst. We're seeing it burst, to tell you the truth. But you think about it, for those of you, and just a very basic example. So end of 2025, you were seeing a flurry of activity, right? We were shipping things. So we were trying to ship things as fast as possible as we could anywhere.
Right.
So whatever, we were making things, we were manufacturing auto parts, we were double time, triple time. That's why the GDP was so high, because quite frankly, it was showing that. It was showing that
we're preparing for doom.
We saw the tariffs coming, and we were starting to get things moving as quickly as possible and getting them out of here. The problem is, how do they get out of here? They get out of here in shipping containers, right? So these Chinese shipping containers that had landed in country were being filled up and trucked over. Now, what had happened was we were still trying to bring things in. We were still trying to bring materials in as fast as we could. It wasn't working. The supply chain was breaking, and the supply management chain was starting to become offset by this rapid exporting of goods to try to get them out of the country before they got hit by tariffs. So we basically shorted containers. And so now these containers, so think about it. So now China, who's getting hit with these tariffs, right? So they're anything they're doing with the US, they're getting hit with tariffs. China is then looking and saying, okay, Canada may not be a good bet. US definitely not a good bet. I'm going to start sending these containers to Australia, and I'm going to send them to Middle East, and I'm going to send them. So they start redirecting containers of goods. So these containers are shifting off. All of a sudden, we don't have shipping containers.
See what happens, and we should explain this. It comes off the shipping container onto the truck, from the truck to the warehouse.
Yep.
The container is then emptied and put back into circulation.
Yes.
But at the moment, it's all gone. Everything we could do, we put into containers and used to ship away. We have no new containers arriving from China because they don't want to take the risk on us at the moment. Therefore, the influx of just the container units is just not there. Plus, our warehouses are already full of everything So now let's
talk. Well, hold on. Before I just want to think. Combine this, before we get off it, I just want to go through. Combine this with a couple other things, which I think our dollar is weakening against the US dollar. The containers are valued in US yen and US dollars. So quite frankly, we're weakening as a currency, which is not helping us either, because it's costing us more because we're paying in US dollars and other currencies. So quite frankly, Chinese currency. So we're seeing a shipping cost increase just on our pure dollar. So that, on top of the supply demand issues, are causing us issues. And then all of a sudden, the war. So now shipping is all screwed up again because we have the Iran war in the Middle East. So there's a whole bunch of other shipping containers that are all misdirected and stuck. So yeah, we're starting to see the impacts of based on, it sounds ridiculous. And someone's yelling at the screen. I know you are, and I know what you're saying. And you're saying, don't we have lots of steel, and shouldn't Canadians be making their own shipping containers?
I was going to yell that, but I'm glad you calmed us down.
Yeah. Well, we should, quite frankly.
You know what? I think that we overvalue our steel because it's a better quality and then our steel pricing is not exactly cheap.
Right. No, it isn't. But no, it's not cheap. And quite frankly, what we had a market. So those people say, well, we've had shipping containers. I've bought a shipping container. The shipping container that I buy in my business, quite frankly, is from China. Mm-hmm. But I buy it used. So when a shipping container gets too old, it gets too dinged up, it gets whatever, they put it on the block of a used shipping container. And I found about this market years ago, and I used it for many businesses when I needed excess storage or temporary storage. Rather than pay the rental fee, I found it was cheaper. And for most times, for a 20-foot container, I was paying between $1,500 to $2,000, and for a bigger 40-foot container, I was paying about $3,000. Now you can't get used containers.
I was going to say, if you could get into that market right now, Paul, you'd probably make a buck.
Yeah, or if you had a bunch stored up somewhere, but they're nowhere now because they've all been shipped out, bought up, done. So that used container market is actually been soaked up and it's off the market now. So
how many of those containers do you have?
6 right now.
Paul's going away on the road. Give me a call. I can empty those containers, make an offer. But you're right. Now, here's the other thing. When you talk about these containers, they used to become available.
Yeah.
But let me assure you what's going on with them. And I wonder about the safety of the products inside them, truthfully.
Oh, yeah.
Many of these shipping containers are going to container yards where they're just sitting outdoors, piled up, vast kilometer by kilometer
Yeah.
yards of these